Friendship is one of the most valuable bonds we can have. It's the unwavering support, the shared secrets, and the comfort of knowing someone always has your back. But what happens when that bond is shattered by someone who both trusted? When trust turns into treachery, and love into tragedy. Today, we're diving into a story that's as much about friendship as it is about betrayal, an unspeakable act committed by someone who was supposed to be a protector, not a predator. This is the story of Nancy Hyer and Billy Fischer. Speaking of friends, for many of us, Robert Stack was a friend we grew up with. Whether you remember him from his iconic role in Airplane or as the unforgettable host of Unsolved Mysteries, he was a constant presence in our lives. His voice guided us through stories of the unknown, and today, we revisit one such case that was featured on Unsolved Mysteries, a case that blends friendship with betrayal in the most tragic way. William Peter Fischer, known to some as Alan, has been on the run since the brutal 1986 murder of his own son and his son's friend. This case, which has haunted investigators for decades, was featured on both Unsolved Mysteries and America's Most Wanted. But despite the coverage, Fischer remains at large. Our story begins in the bustling heart of New York City, where a simple act of kindness would tragically lead to an unimaginable crime. 19-year-old Billy Fischer first met 21-year-old Nancy Hyer on a New York City train. Nancy, stranded and on the verge of tears, was offered help by Billy, who escorted her safely back to her home in Hicksville, Long Island. This act of kindness sparked a close friendship, one that would soon turn deadly. While Nancy saw Billy as a close friend, it was later revealed that Billy may have seen her as more. Billy Fischer was suffering from cystic fibrosis, a debilitating condition that affects the lungs and digestive system. His health was deteriorating, and his medical bills were mounting. Desperate, Billy turned to the men who had abandoned him 15 years earlier, his estranged father, William Fischer. With nowhere else to turn, Billy reached out to ask for help. On December 10, 1986, Billy arrived at his father's Southgate, Long Island home. The next day, he called his friend Nancy, asking her to pick him up. Despite the stormy weather and the late hour, Nancy agreed. Little did she know, she was walking into a deadly trap. Soon after Nancy arrived, William Fischer did the unthinkable. In a fit of rage, he shot his 19-year-old son 18 times at close range, and then turned his fury on Nancy, stabbing her twice with a sharp instrument. To cover his tracks, Fischer painted the walls of his home at 3 a.m. and disposed of the bodies by placing them in the trunk of Nancy's car, which he abandoned 2 miles away. Back home, Joan Hyer, Nancy's mother, grew increasingly worried when her daughter didn't return. After getting no answers from the police, she reached out to William Fischer, who feigned concern and claimed Billy and Nancy had left together. Little did she know, her daughter and Billy were already dead. 10 days later, police discovered Nancy's abandoned car. Inside the trunk, they found the bodies of Nancy Hyer and Billy Fischer. The search of William Fischer's home revealed evidence of the murders, blood splatters, bullet fragments, and freshly painted walls attempting to hide the horror that had occurred. By February 25, 1987, a warrant was issued for William Fischer's arrest. But Fischer was one step ahead. Before the police could apprehend him, he abandoned his car at JFK Airport and vanished without a trace. 35 years have passed since this horrific crime, but Fischer remains at large, his whereabouts unknown. William Fischer brutally betrayed his own son and an innocent girl who was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. He has evaded justice for far too long. Joan Hyer, Nancy's mother, passed away in 2014, never seeing her daughter's killer brought to justice. Billy's family, including a brother Jason, were torn apart by this tragedy. It's time to bring this monster to justice. If you have any information on the whereabouts of William Peter Fischer, also known as William Allen Fischer, please contact the state police at 631-756-3300. Let's ensure that these families finally get the justice they deserve. William Peter Fischer, born October 4, 44, now 77 years old. 5 feet 11 inches, 185 to 200 pounds, blue eyes, salt and pepper hair, tattoo of Mary on his right bicep. Heavy drinker, cocaine user. Worked as a car salesman. It deeply saddens me that there's so little information and only a few pictures available of Billy Fischer. Unlike Nancy, Billy didn't have a family to advocate for him, and because of that, he's often forgotten in this tragic story. It's crucial that we remember both Billy and Nancy, ensuring that their lives and stories are honored and that justice is served for both of them. They both deserve to be remembered, and their killer must be brought to justice. You don't get to murder 2 kids and get away with it. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join us as we continue to shed light on the darkest mysteries.